And you call them steamed ham, despite the fact they are obviously grilled.
You know, one thing
I say, have you steamed ham?
Patented Skinner burgers. Oh, no.
Steamed ham.
Steamed ham, yes, I agree.
Steamed ham.
It's happening in the steamed ham.
Just got the green light that we are live. Hello, RGL chat. Everyone else watching from anywhere on the internet. 'Cause I don't know if anyone just uses Twitch exclusively anymore. I'm eBloodyCandy. I am a filler for this race. KumaKhan22 was gracious enough to allow me to race against them. Otherwise, I was just going to do straight up commentary. But I'm pretty stoked to actually, you know, run the game again. I haven't actively or competitively speedran Kirby's Dreamland in, oh boy, few years now. Normal mode anyway, beyond that. So it's going to be a very interesting race, I think, to say the least. But very excited to be here. Always thankful for RGL allowing me and others to showcase games on the channel, especially in a racing format. And especially since it's for a fantastic event, Feed the Kids, you know, trying to help out the world, you know, one marathon at a time. Yeah, and I think with that, it sounds like we're both ready to rock and roll. So, Schema, if you wanna count us down in Discord. Oh, count down from 10. Three, two, one, let's rock. Alright, so first stage we got here is green greens. On normal mode, these first set of Waddle Dees here are not going to leap at you. However, they do pose a little bit of a threat because they don't stop walking at all. You can simply just jump over them or just inhale, swallow them, do whatever you need to do. Here we're just going to just get to this warp star kind of as fast as possible. We're going to come across our first RNG encounter of the run here. We're going to face off against Poppy Bro. And Poppy Bro is going to give us two initial bombs out of the gate here. He's going to give us what we call the slow bomb and the fast bomb. And from here, Poppy has three options it can do. It can either do the dance, which you just saw on my screen. It can give us a slow bomb, or it can give us a fast bomb. Ideally, you want the fast bomb. It does save a bit of time. However, you know, you take what you can get in this game sometimes. And inhaling an enemy, if I press down and exhale within those 8 frames, I can store an action in Kirby to where if I'm within 10 frames of the enemy and I inhale them, I can instantly spit them out and move on with my life. Otherwise I have to wait for the inhale animation. Here with the wispy fight here, ideally we want six apples dropping out all at once, which is exactly what we got. We don't want Wispy to puff any wind at all if we can help it. Otherwise, we have to duck and wait for Wispy to puff some wind in between the apple fights. Going into Castle Low. So we're greeted with the microphone, and we're just going to go ahead and swallow that and move forward. We're also greeted with the bomb. We're going to go ahead and swallow that and move forward. In Kirby's Dreamland 1, there are no power-ups. Your quote-unquote power-ups is the mic and a bomb. There is an invincibility candy in stage 2, and there's only one, and it's so far out of the way it's not even worth going for. Here we have our mini boss in stage 2, which is Lo and La. They take 3 hits, and we move on to the rest of the stage. I'm not sure if Khan is going to go for a curry kill or not. I'm kind of old school and I don't know any better. So I'm going to be going and getting the curry and attempting to get a curry kill on Lo and La. This is a very tight timing trick that you can do, and it most of the time will fail without even trying. So here we see we got 2 hits in on Lo before our curry ran out. So now we have to kind of do this fight the old-fashioned way. You can do a quick fight into this without the curry, but it's a very tight maneuvering to get it through. So with that, typically if you can get a good cycle and a good movement into Lo and La, you can one cycle the fight with curry. With perfect boxes without curry, you can get a 3 to 4 cycle on the fight. Float Island. So this is probably the most technical stage of the run. This is where dreams kind of go to die sometimes in this run, because one wrong move and the movement is completely off and things really start to snowball. My movement is going to be a bit different than Khan's through here, simply because I prefer to use water and to keep an enemy inside of Kirby at all times. The reason that is that it helps Kirby float a lot easier, and when I get to the microphone, I can instantly swallow the microphone without having a swallow animation to go through. So here what's going to happen next is that we're going to enter the ship, and the ship here has a curry plate, and we're going to go without that curry plate. Having that curry plate means that whenever we would shoot a fireball out, it's going to create extra sprites on the screen. And as you can see, this stage is already incredibly laggy as is already. So by creating extra sprites on the screen with shooting the fireball from the curry, it makes that stage even laggier. So we do want to prevent as much lag as possible and get through that without having to create extra sprites. Right now I'm approaching the Kabula fight, where we're going to get the mint leaf here and be able to hold down the shoot button to fight Kabula. Kabula is a very simple fight on normal mode. Kabula is going to have 3 basic attacks. It's going to do a tri-shot, a single shot, and a spread shot. Basically just sit next to Kabula and just spam shoot into it. If we look at Khan's screen here, Khan's about to approach the Kabula fight as well. Bubbly Clouds, the longest stage in the run. This is what I call the endurance stage. This stage here kinda is rough, just because there's so much happening, but luckily enough for us in normal mode, the umbrellas don't attack us, so we can simply just run underneath the Waddle Dees and Waddle Doos and make on with our life. Here, if we shoot the Sir Kibble at the right time, we can get that Waddle Doo out of the way. That allows us to jump onto that platform and push us right to those floating heads, Scarfies. Forgot the name of them for a second. It's been a while. So here we're into the cloud labyrinth, so to speak. In extra mode, there is a way to remove enemies in this stage. However, in normal mode is a bit more difficult because you don't have the same opportunity to sprite overloading as you do in extra mode. So the midway boss for Bubbly Clouds is Cracker Jr., where he's going to pop out a Waddle Doo, and we just have to shoot it 3 times. There are 2 places that you can stand that are extremely safe. You can stand right here on the edge of this broken pillar right here, or you can stand in the far corner and just duck down, and Cracker Jr. will not hurt you at all. Let's see if we can get some background glitches happening. And we got a background glitch. So I don't 100% understand how this glitch works. But if you can tap inhale while touching the water, and if the mint leaf touches you or gets into you as you touch the water, for some reason Kirby glitches into the background. It saves a fractional amount of time, but it does look cool. So here we have probably the worst screen in the game, because we have to break all these blocks with the Kirby plate. However, every time we shoot a fireball, it causes lag on the screen because of the extra sprites, and every time you break a block, it also causes extra sprites on the screen. And with the falling stars, there is just a ton of lag happening on the screen that you just can't avoid. Here we have the Kracko fight, where we're kind of at the dismay of Kracko here, where we have to wait for Kracko to drop a Waddle Doo so we can, well, shoot the Waddle Doo back at it. This is pretty much the run breaker for anyone actively doing speedruns of Kirby's Dreamland. Now, in recent years, Speedman has discovered an RNG manipulation for this game, where depending on the seed that you get on, and every time that Kirby spawns a star or makes an extra sprite, it changes the memory stuff. So he has found a way to manipulate the RNG of the game to get perfect fights all the way through. I'm not big into RNG manipulations. I nowadays play the game very casually if I'm ever going to do stuff like this. So watching either of us, we're probably not doing any type of RNG manipulations at all. So here we got the refights. We are down in stage 5, or Mount TDD. We're gonna start off with Lo and La first, because after Kirby slides across his face and stops, he stops the closest to Lo and Lala's door. And then after this, it's kind of up to the runner's choice, depending on where they want to go. For me, I'm going to go into Kracko and do what we call a Gordo skip. So with this, I take in the first enemy I see. I'm going to take initial damage off here, walk behind the Gordo, and take the door. So the Gordos in Kirby's Dreamland 1 do 3 damage to you, unlike any other Kirby game out there in the world. However, in stage 5, Gordos will flat out kill you no matter how much health you have. It's a blocker to prevent you from going into the boss room without having to touch your Kirby mimic. But you can utilize your iframes from taking damage to go into the door and skip grabbing the Kirby mimic altogether. You can also get into the door without using iframes. There is a 2 to 3 frame window in which you can get into the door from the bottom or the top, but it is not RTA viable at all. At least not yet. Someday, maybe. Here we got Kracko giving us the business real quick here. And now we're moving on to Kabula real quick. I always save green greens for last just because, I don't know, green greens is it's always fun. I enjoy that music more. So here we're going to take in the first enemy that we see. Try not to touch the spikes and the Gordo. If you do touch the spikes, it does half of your hit points in damage. So right now we're at 5. If I would have touched the spikes, we would have been down to 2 hit points. Would have been no good, especially against the Kabula fight here, because we're definitely going to take some intended damage from the cannonballs to try and get this fight down as fast as possible. If you do kill Kabula too high up on that screen, you can get screen crushed and have to do that fight over again. The amount of times I have lost runs because of that is pretty comical. So here we grab our Kirby mirror and we're going into the wispy fight once again. Alright, got some decent apples there, only got a few puffs through there. Then after this, we're going to stop the music with a deload there, and now we're going to go into DDD. DDD has 4 different attacks it can do, 2 of which can generate stars, which is the hammer attack that you see here, a jump attack, which you hopefully see eventually, a dive attack, which generates no stars, which is the preferred attack we'd have if he doesn't do stars, and he has a big suck attack. The suck attack is the least optimal attack we want him to do because that is the slowest attack that he has. Ideally, we'd want him to do some hammers, and the hammer is going to swing in Kirby's last known position. With the jump, you can potentially do what we call the double hit, where you can use a task bit to eat in one of the stars and immediately get the other one that drops down as well too. Like I said, I'm not going to go for that at all. So, and with that, we have time. So it looks like Khan was going into the DDD fight with not a ton of health, so taking the initial death there just to start the fight with full health. A very common strategy to take in this, especially during races, especially during progression speedrunning and things of that nature. Khan getting very good stars though right now. They're getting a lot of jumps, getting a lot of hammers. So getting himself in place here. One big difference with Kirby's Dreamland 1 that you'll notice with Dreamland 2, Kirby's Adventure, is that when Khan sucked in those 2 stars, he doesn't have a boosted star by any means. Even though he sucked in 2 stars, he still only does the damage of 1 star. So it doesn't matter if you take in 2 or take in 1, it's going to do the same amount of damage no matter what. So we got one more hit left for Khan. And here it comes. And GG's. That is Kirby's Dreamland. For those of you that are not into speed or haven't done any type of speedrunning, want to get into speedrunning, looking for a very easy game to get into speedrunning, I cannot recommend Kirby's Dreamland 1 enough. There are no major glitches into the game. You do not need to know the RNG manipulation to get a crazy good time. It's a very simple game to pick up. There are no power-ups, there's no mixes, there's none of that at all. It is the most basic Kirby game that you can ever think of. Has still a very active community, a giant leaderboard. There's some guides out there. There's a lot of people, me included, that are still helping new runners to this day. So if you're wanting to get into speedrunning, get into Game Boy speedrunning, or just get into Kirby speedrunning, Kirby's Dreamland is the best game, in my opinion, to get into. But with that, thank you again, RGL, for having us. Thank you again for allowing me to race KumaKhan. Always a pleasure to play the game, race the game against people. Thank you again for allowing me to commentate. I believe up next we have Kirby Superstar. We have a nice little Kirby block going on here, so stay tuned for Kirby Superstar. Any % all main games. People love Kirby Superstar, and it has some banger music in it. So again, stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you for watching Feed the Kids Marathon 2022. A lot more to come. I have a whole weekend full of it.